Welcome back to another action figure comparison video. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Green Goblin, both produced by SHFiguarts and Hasbro's Marvel Legend line. These are two of the most definitive versions of this character you can get in figure form, and let's break down how these two stack up against each other. Now, right off the bat, I have to make one change because this was for one of my photos that I did recently. This head sculpt does not actually belong to SHFiguarts. Instead, he gets one of these, and then there's a choice of hood. But getting into looks first, we'll start off with the look. I ended up getting the Legends one first and immediately fell in love. This is really well done. I love that the Goblin comes with the original movie mask. That was such a great touch. And he looks spectacular. Like, Hasbro and the Legends team did such an amazing job with all of the details. He is one of the better Legends that I've picked up in recent history. Like, really, really well done from a looks perspective. And the head will switch. And you do end up, if you want, getting the hood look. And you can throw on goggles too. There's a pair of goggles here. Not to jump ahead to accessories. But with Legends, you do get two distinct looks. There we go. For me, as cool as this is, what I want to do is eventually take off this purple sash and leave this one as my first movie figure. So I eventually will get rid of as much of this as I can figure out how to take off without permanently damaging them, but I'm fairly certain I'll be able to get this off from what I've seen online. So yeah, this is my definitive movie version from the first movie. I think this is really great, but when it comes to overall look, this SHF is no joke. I've been a big fan of their stuff for a long time now, and you just can't compete with like the paint work that they do. So as good as that Legend is, I mean, this guy just pops. I really like the green. I like the green way better on the SHF version. As good as Legends did with theirs, SHF just has a little bit more of a budget in order to really get some special paint work in there. And the way his hood works is just like that, where it will clip in there. So when it comes to look, it's kind of a draw because, once again, their price points are so different. This guy is retailing for around $150. This guy retails at $50. So right off the bat, like, of course, I'm a sucker for Spidey stuff, so I have all of the SHF and I have all the Marvel Legends. I was gonna get both of them, and I do have these uses for both planned. But from a looks department, even with the lack of smiling head sculpts, I'd say the SHF wins. Even though they both come with sculpted rubber hoods, which is very difficult to pull off, both wired, cloth, or rubber. Hoods are just really difficult to make look really good, but I thought that this one looks far better than the way the Legends one came out. Again, it's fine, but I don't know. It's just not, this is not as menacing as that version. You also get the hood down look as well, and the gray down the calic, down the part. And really spectacular head sculpt. Look at that. But as good as this is, it's not how I think of Willem Dafoe, because, especially as the Green Goblin, I want him cackling, I want him and that's what I get with the Legends head. So really, like, I've used this already, as I showed you at the top of the video. This will work in there. It should require some blue tack to really make it stick in there, because obviously the pegs will not match. But with the hood, I was able to get it to stay in place and look really sharp. So ultimately, from a looks department, SHF does win, but it is close. This is as close as the SHFiguarts movie Venom and the Marvel Legends version, where do you need an upgrade? If you have this, no. You don't need the upgrade because this will cover you. But to put together your own definitive goblin, you're gonna want both of them. So there is that takeaway with the swappable heads. Now, in articulation, they both do a really good job. You got a lot of movement here out of the Legends. You get some nice turning rotation, but you don't get a lower ab, so you still will be limited there. That's about as much as you can turn and crunch. Not terrible, but not great either. That's about as high up as he'll be able to look in that, but that's good. That's a straight ahead look if you're having him march towards you. Get the double jointed arms. You get all the typical other Legend rotation, but you do get drop down hips, which will help with the glider posing, something I still struggle with, which I'll get to. And then you get the ankle rockers. He does move well. He does move well. Once again, I would be happy if this was the only one that I have. Can get some cool stuff, but again, getting to the glider, that's gonna be where my issue comes in. There's the Legends version. And then articulation-wise on Figuarts, I mean, there's no comparison to me. I mean, you're just gonna be able to get more. There's the crunch. You're just going to be able to get more out of this guy. The engineering of SHF figures are really crazy awesome. I dig them, even with the weird choices of thong. On a suit like this, it's well hidden. Like, you don't see that, really. Like, you'd have to look and focus on it. So he just, once again, oof. Toe articulation, great ankle rockers too, for the most part. Not quite as deep, but again, you're gonna get what you need for the glider posing, which is huge. Not as close. SHF wins the articulation battle. Legends does a great job on its own. Now, when it comes to accessories, the Marvel Legends Goblin comes with the pumpkin bomb and the extra head sculpt and hood. And obviously then he's gonna have the glider, but that is the last piece to this video today. So accessory-wise, that's like what you get. This is it. You get this, and then you get the head swap. So pumpkin bomb, extra heads, and the glider. So not too much, no extra hands on the Legends version. It would have been nice, as always, just for the toy photography options. But then with SHF, you do get a little bit more. I'm not going to show them all off, but you do get plenty of hands. And over here, on the, like for instance, on the Legends version, this is set. These are not sharp at all, very bendable, but fortunately, they are straight out of the box. I didn't have to do any kind of heating or straightening. But that is his arm blades. But on the Figuarts, you have choices, retractable and unretractable, like this. So that is really cool. And they both look awesome, both versions. And once again, the paint job, you can see the difference in paint. Man, when these bad boys are out, they are menacing. They are sharp. I would be afraid of breaking these because they're gonna cut me, but they are pinch, 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 poke, poke, poke. But I would not want these to break because they do seem sturdy, but breakable for sure. But they look insane. And once again, a difference between, you know, something that is for an adult, and yes, these are adult collectibles, but also for children. So there is a big difference. This is a straight up adult collectible. And you can tell because, again, the fragility of that accessory, but the payoffs in shelf display and action figure posing and photography. The last thing that the SHF, he also came with his own pumpkin bomb right there and a special hand to hold it. Time for a Goblin glider comparison. Physically, the Legends version takes up more space. It is just a larger item. You could say because the figure itself is larger. SHF, their scale is slightly smaller than Legends. So here is the Legends version. Again, they did a really nice job. It comes with, we've seen these style flight stands from their vehicle accessories before, but that ports right in there. And, you know, it looks great. When I first took this out, when it was my only one, I was like, all right, they killed it. This is awesome. And looking closely, you know, it is missing some paint details, which I will show you. And the way this works is that these things can come off. You get this rotation. They will also rotate here as well. But that's where it does get tough. You think that you're going to be able to do everything you want to do with him on there, and I just found that not to be the case. Just a lot of struggling. But I'm also coming to the conclusion that Goblin gliders are not my favorite vehicle. Like, I love this Willem Dafoe Green Goblin character, but thinking back to when I was 18 and the movie came out, I wasn't crazy about the armored look. And while it's grown on me after all this time, this is still not my favorite vehicle. I'm just not crazy about it ultimately, but again, out of nostalgia and because it is the character, I embrace it, and now I have two. But look at the difference here in the brightness, in the colors, in the paint. When you go underneath, you can see how much better the paint job is in all of these other hard to see places. But then it's been pointed out to me that, you know, it could have been dirtied up a little bit. It is very, very clean out of the factory type look, out of the Goblin factory. So the muted grays and purple, I think it's going to be a matter of preference for you. But now let's see these guys up on their gliders and see some of the issues that I've been having with them. So there he looks up on the glider. I do have an easier time posing this guy on the SHFiguarts glider. It's also due to the articulation. I did see it does take a little bit of work to get him going. And it's still limiting in terms of what I can do with it. But I guess that is also this character. He doesn't have too many poses when he's up on his glider. Like, I thought I could get a little weird with stuff, flatten this out and stretch him out there. I guess I kind of can. There we go. But still, like, there's still only so much that you can do with him up here. But that is all balanced, and he's there. So I definitely enjoy the playing and posing of the SHF version far more, and that was far faster to get going. Now let's take a look at the Legends. So far, so good. And now this is where my issues start coming up. See, like right there. That is a point of frustration. So it's the ankle. The fact that you only get rockers and there's no turn, that makes it really, really difficult, even with this moving foot base, to get going. And again, just to make him look natural, it is just really hard for me to get this guy to look good without just doing some kind of generic vanilla goblin pose? Well, again, from some angles, that could look pretty menacing, I suppose. There we go. And now even that, just to get him to stand there. So that's not bad. It took a little bit of time. You know, it's not gonna be instantaneous. But that looks okay. That looks all right. I don't know. I'm not crazy about the legs. It's really the ankles though. That's my biggest problem. So from an experience standpoint, from a playing and posing experience, SHF does win. So ultimately, I have more fun playing and posing with the SHF Goblin up on the glider. The Hasbro one will do the job. It is just far more frustrating to get into a dynamic looking pose. They're both going to get you classic Goblin posing for the most part, but I'm not sure you're gonna get much more in terms of crunching and leg movement than what I have here. But this guy, I think if I spent more time with him, I could really get some crazier Goblin, even classic comic book Goblin poses on the glider, just with the level of articulation alone, and the fact that he's not such a jerk to stay up there on the glider. It's the ankles. It's all about the ankles. All right, so final thoughts. I am not here to tell you which one of these is better. They both have their pros and cons. So as always, your mileage may vary. It's going to depend on what you prioritize as your needs for your collection. Like I said, for me, I've been going in on everything Spider-Man from SHFiguarts and Marvel Legends, so I was gonna get both of these. But I think, like I said, if you only got the Legends version, you don't necessarily need this upgrade. You don't. If you were happy with getting this guy or you're only looking for one, I think genuinely this would be enough. But if you are like me and you do value the Spider-Man franchise as much as I do, then if given the choice and you don't mind paying the premium, then I do think that this one would be the one to get if you were only going to get one. But again, he is costly. It's just it's up to you. It's up to your collection, your needs, your finances. I like the look and feel of this one. I like this head sculpt and the option for the first movie with the head. Both gliders are fine and different, you know, they're fine and different. Each one would be fine if it was the only one that I owned, but I have two. I prefer the SHF one, but because of the articulation here, but I kind of like the muted color scheme and the larger scale of the Legends version. I hope this review, this impression, this video helped with any buying decisions that you have. Let me spend my money on these toys and hopefully save you one or two, unless you're gonna go both of them like me, and then high five. Thank you so much for checking out the video as always. And just so you know, every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live to talk about life and toys. So I hope to see you in the chat one of these Sunday nights. But in the meantime, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to talk to you soon. Peace.